This is Andrei Mincov, the founder of Trademark Factory, and in this video I'm going to go through yet another failed trademark application with the USPTO. We're going to go look at the application, we're going to look at the history, and I'm going to show you what problems it encountered, why it didn't go through, and hopefully this will give you a lesson how to do trademarks properly. All right, let's jump into it. And one quick word, this is a new type of videos that I'm doing right now. There's probably over 1,000 videos on the channel already, and that's the first time I'm doing something like this. So if you like this type of videos, if it's helpful, if it's useful, please like this video, post in the comment below what you like about it, what you didn't like about it, so we can tweak and evolve this series, because I think there's a lot of potential in what we can go through this. So let's jump right into it. So trademark MoonRocket, filed in 2020, in August of 2020, and died in June of 2021. So didn't take them very long. All right, let's see what actually happened. All right, so here's the trademark application. They filed it for MoonRocket. They filed it as a just regular word mark, not a design. Filed on Principal Register by MoonRocket Inc. So they got their website. Actually, let's see if the website is still alive. I'm curious. Did they do anything with that? No. Okay, so the website died. All right. And so they filed their trademark for downloadable anti-piracy software, application programming, so API software, things like that. Okay, and so there's a bunch of stuff here. But if you watched the video on Quash that I did, and we can probably link it somewhere, this is a much more reasonable list of goods and services, right? It tells you exactly what it's for. So it's not super narrow, but it's narrow enough to be reasonable. Okay, and they filed it based on Section 1A, which means that they're claiming use of the trademark, and they're saying that they have been using it at least as early as June of 2020, and first used in commerce in July, so just before they filed that trademark. So let me check something interesting. So archive.org. I want to see what's out there, whether they had a website, and while it's loading, we can go through more of this. So they said, okay, so that's the we're going to look at the specimen, because so they said printout of MoonRocket website homepage, moonrocket.ai. All right, so moonrocket.ai. Does Wayback Machine know anything about moonrocket.ai? Let's see. Okay, so apparently last time there was something there was in 2022, but let's check it out. Let's check it out. So that's April of 2022. Last snapshot. I have no idea what it's going to show, so I am just as in the dark as you are. So let's see. Okay, so that's not really an update. Yeah, basically just a message from the hosting that, hey, there's nothing. Same thing in December of 2021. And I think the previous one will be in 2020. So let's see. Okay. All right. So it's not that they did a lot. Okay, actually, hang on. So yeah, so that was it just took a long time to open this. Okay, so they didn't go much further beyond putting together this website in 2020. It was still alive in November, but that's pretty much it based on archive.org. Okay, so they gave them the printout of the website, and they said that's what we got, yeah, so that's that. They paid the yeah. So they provide all sorts of specimens for different things. So that's class 35. That's for class, printout. They provided the same printout for all classes that they filed their trademark in, and they filed in a bunch of classes, right? So they filed in, if you look at here, goods and services, so they filed class 9, class 35, class 36, class 38, class 41, right? And so even in class 9, they provided the printout for for the website. Okay, so they got all of this. They got 36 financial services, namely providing a virtual currency for use, blah blah blah. Okay, and so they keep providing their web page. Okay, and they say that shows use, and then so bunch of stuff. They claim use for all of their goods and services, and they filed in 8 classes. So they use TS Plus, which is a cheaper way to file a trademark in the U.S., but it comes with a lot of limitations. It doesn't allow you to word your goods and services in a certain way, and so we never recommend our clients to go with TS Plus because converting from TS Plus to TS Standard costs money. It's a guaranteed office action, so it's never a good idea. So even with a lower fee, right, with TS Plus, they filed in 8 classes, paid $800 to the trademarks office, and so it was just the founder who filed his own trademark, right? Didn't use an attorney, and let's see how it all went. So they got an office action. They got an office action when? So let's look at it again. So let's look at history. So trademark filed August of 2020, got an office action in December of 2020, which is ridiculously short amount of time, right? So now USPTO takes about 9 months to review a trademark application. There was a period, around 2020, when they were able to squeeze that down to about 3 or 4 months. Good old days, so from August to December is what? September, October, November, December, 4 months. So they got the office action. So let's read it quickly. And they say you've got 6 months. So now this changed. The USPTO changed their rules in 2023. Now you have 3 months, not 6 months to respond. Back in the day, they had 6 months. And so here's what they say. We didn't find anything with that's too close to the trademark that you want to go for, right? And that's a good sign usually, because it means that they've done their search, they didn't find anything, good to go. Summary of issues, specimen refusal. So they didn't like the specimen, they didn't like the printout from the website, because here's what they provided. Let's see if they show it somewhere. Okay, let's see it here. How about we see here the specimen? Here's the specimen that they provided. Yeah, very, very similar to what we saw with Web Archive, right? So they say, hey, that's our website. MoonRocket, customer lifecycle management for the space age. They show some pictures, and that's pretty much it, right? So is there something beyond that? They got launch, product, company, right? So this, and you'll see it in the office action. I'm going to talk about this in a moment. The trademarks office made a perfectly good call here, and again, you avoided by not doing something that is designed to fail. So let's read what they said. Okay, they said specimen is not an acceptable display for downloadable software in Class 9. For Class 9, like any class that deals with physical products, class from 1 to 34, requires a specimen that shows a product, that shows something tangible or even downloadable. But with downloadables, it requires something that shows specifically the ability to download something, right? And here what they say is that not acceptable as a display associated with downloadable software, does not show the applied for mark as actually used in commerce. And it says that must include a specimen showing the applied for mark as actually used in commerce for each international class of goods and services. And then it says, so for downloadable software must show use of the mark directly associated with the goods, and such use must be of a point of sale nature. Right? To show use of a point of sale nature, a specimen generally must provide sufficient information to enable the user to download or purchase the software from a website. Right? In this case, does not create an association between the mark and the software or provide the means to enable the user to download or purchase the software from the website. And so specifically what they say is it consists of a screenshot from the applicant's website featuring the applied for mark and the text customer lifecycle management for the space age. The specimen does not show the software itself or a means to purchase or download software. So such material is mere advertising, which is not acceptable as specimen for goods. So with services, advertising the service under the brand qualifies as the use of a trademark as for an acceptable specimen for services, but not for goods. So that's the distinction that they're making. And so here's what they're trying to be helpful. They're saying, hey, here are the examples of specimens. These specimens include instruction manuals, screen printouts from web pages showing the mark associated with the software, and ordering or purchasing information or information sufficient to download the software, right? It could be actual program while running that shows the mark in the title bar, or launch screens that show the mark in an introductory message box that appears after opening the program. So they give you the exact list of what would have worked, right? And what they received is not any of that, right? And then they go for the other classes. They say specimen don't show direct association between mark and services in classes 35, 36, all the other classes. And they say, yeah, registration refused because the specimen does not show a direct association. And here they've got basically the same argument saying that, hey, yeah, you say that, well, what did it say? Where is this? Customer lifecycle management for the space age. How does this show any use of the brand in connection with rendering those services? It doesn't, right? And registration refused because the specimen does not show a direct association between the mark and the services, and fails to show the applied for mark as actually used in commerce with the identified services in these classes, right? So here are the examples that they say would have worked. Specimens for services must show a direct association between the mark and the services and include, okay, now I probably have to move this. Okay, I can move me. Good. All right. So copies of advertising, marketing material, a photograph of business signage or billboards. That's for physical services. Material showing the mark in the sale, rendering, or advertising of the services. But they actually have to show the service itself, right? Any web page printout or screenshot submitted as a specimen must include the web page's URL and the date it was accessed or printed on the specimen itself within the tease form. Okay, so they're basically saying that you got to show specific services, the ones that you put in the application. So, for example, if we just go back to here and look at, I don't know, financial services, namely business fundraising provided over a computer network such as internet. Their website, the page that they're showing should have said, MoonRocket, helping companies run their fundraising efforts over the internet, or providing a virtual currency for use by members of an online. Like they had to make an effort to show all of these services on the website and say, hey, we are offering those services. You can order these services through our website, or you say that you're ready to take orders, right? The website needs to show that you are ready, willing, and able to provide those services, to render those services, and obviously you have to specify what the services are. You can't just say, hey, MoonRocket, we're amazing, and claim that that's good enough for the trademarks office. So they got this office action, and then in July of 2021, they got the abandonment notice, basically, hey, you didn't respond to our office action, and if you didn't, it means you're no longer interested in this trademark. We're going to kill your trademark application. And they say there's a way to revive for a fee. It's called petition to revive. If you show that you didn't intend to not respond, and they didn't do it, so their trademark application was killed, and that was the end of it. So as for the lesson, well, obviously they went out of business. The project didn't go anywhere, so that's probably the reason they didn't respond to the office action. That's what I'm assuming. And of course, right? If you're not interested in the brand anymore, by the time you get an office action, there's no reason to respond to it. But here's the lesson. Here's the lesson to this. When you go out of business, the stuff that you invested in your business dies with the business, right? All the salaries you've paid to people, all the money that you've paid to web designers, to programmers, to marketers, like all of that money kind of disappears, right? So let's not talk about this, because we all build businesses that we hope are not going to fail. So let's assume that it did, that the business was still in business by the time they got an office action. Let's say they actually cared about it. Here's what they should have done. They obviously didn't have proper use in August of 2020, right? They should never have claimed use, because it's really pretty obvious that they didn't sell all these products, that they didn't offer any of those services. They put together a website, great, but they weren't ready, willing, and able to offer those services. So what they should have done is they should have filed this trademark application as an intent to use trademark application, which is 1B, and show use after the trademark got approved, got allowed. Then at that point, they'll be required to show use, and then have several chances to extend the deadline, that have 3 more years after the trademark gets allowed to show use to the trademarks office, and maybe remove some of the goods and services that they weren't interested in. Yes, that they would come with an additional small fee of $100 per class to convert it from intent to use in commerce, but it would have definitely cost them significantly less to do that than to have to argue this office action, right? Because they'd have to, they can't just say, whoops, we actually are not using, right? You can't go from use to intent to use. That's a hard one. You have to prove use that's acceptable to the trademarks office, and that's the big problem. And yeah, here they also say, because of legal technicalities, strict deadlines, applicant is encouraged to hire a private attorney who specializes in trademark matters to assist in this process, right? And they can only they're not going to help them more than that, right? Here, for response options, they say there's 2 things they can do. One is they can submit a different specimen, or they can amend the filing basis to intent to use. So they do allow that with USPTO. So if I misspoke just a minute earlier, I'm sorry. But so there's 2 ways, right? So they could amend, but they should have done it right away. There's no value in trying to file this under 1A, because that attracted the office action that they need to respond to. It takes time, it takes money, it takes effort, so that they should have done it properly. But kudos that they picked a name that was not too close to anything that existed before in the database. It would have gone through had it not been for the specimen. So the lesson here is be very careful with how you're filing your trademark applications. The specimen of use is one of the common reasons why trademark applications get denied, and you have to be careful with that stuff. So that's MoonRocket. That's MoonRocket for you. If you like this video, like the video. If you have any comments for me, please post them below, and I'll try to take them into account when we do more videos like this. And until then, I'll see you in the next video.